What's up, nerds? Welcome along to feature draft number 2 here at Mythic Championship 2 in London. My name's Riley, joined by Simon, and we're going to be calling the shots as we get underway with Yuuya Watanabe, the Japanese superstar. Simon, I got the chance to... I was in the prime position. I had box seats, front row seats, whatever you're going to call them. I was in a great spot to watch his draft, and we're going to get to see every pick in every pack of one of the best players in the world.
Absolutely.
It's, as soon as things are ready, we're going to line it up and get underway here, but... we did see Olivier Ruel with a pretty... it looked like he was in a pretty good spot at the end of the draft, and we'll see how things go with Yuuya here. Opening up Niv Mizzet Reborn. We're going to go deep first pick, Simon?
No, I don't expect that to happen. You don't want to start with a 5-color card. I don't think you want to have it in your pack at all. Let's see what else is there.
Mythic Skydiver is an option. There's some less impressive uncommons like Teo, the light shielder there. And I don't know, not a lot to work with in this pack. No, it's a little weak.
Some red removal spells, but not super exciting as a first pick. Chandra's Pyro Helix.
And you can see that Watanabe is choosing between one of these gold cards. Now, Simon, for those of you who are a little bit newer to a draft, newer to this whole process, welcome. By all means, welcome. But picking a gold card, it's not where you want to be. First pick.
So the thing is, you get more power, but also you get a lower chance that this will actually end up in your deck. So it is kind of like a high-risk, high-reward type of pick. And the really good players, and of course Yuuya is one of those, they will know when to deviate from that plan. If blue-green is an option, that's great. Then you have just gotten an awesome card for your deck.
This card, 2-mana, 2/2 flyer, that's fantastic. An activated ability that can really overrun a game. And as you can see, 4-star card for the Merfolk Skydiver here. Ujin's Conjurant, another great option here in pack number 2. And this is the opposite, isn't it? Nice, flexible, colorless card.
It's competing here with another gold card, but of course one that would stretch his colors already to black, green, and blue after 2 picks, which is probably not what you want to be.
Stay open, stay flexible, and the Ujin's Conjurant would certainly be a great pickup here for Watanabe.
Spark Harvest is also an option. I think that's just a very solid card that you can pick. However, if you already have a blue-green card and you want to pick a removal, then you could just go with Death Bloom because you already have the black.
Well, it's going to be the Conjurant here. And we'll move on and see what's up in pack number 3 for Yuuya Watanabe, Japanese MPL player, Hall of Famer, of course. And a couple more gold cards here. Soul Diviner, 10th Legion District as well. 10th District Legion, I should say.
I'm a huge fan of Soul Diviner. It also synergizes really nicely with all kinds of counter and planeswalker themes. So,
for example,
yeah,
Merfolk Skydiver, Ujin's Conjurant.
That's actually almost perfect if you want to go that route. I think with a set that high, with that high of a power level, you want to use your first picks to be flexible, but when you get this kind of opportunity, you really want to dive in so that you get the full payoff.
Soul Diviner is the pick here for Yuuya Watanabe. He's probably thinking about that Niv Mizzet coming back around the table. He's already picked up a Simic card, now a Dimir card, so just 8 more to go, and then he's going to go full Niv Mizzet here. Let's see what's up in pack number 4, Deliver Unto Evil.
Yeah, I've been seeing quite a bit of confusion about how good this card really is. And even though you get 2 cards from it, it's card advantage. But the problem is you can only use it when your graveyard is sufficiently full. And you always give your opponent that choice what you get. And that's generally not the best thing to do.
A little weaker, perhaps. Well, there is also a few other options here in the form of Crunch Wrangler. It's a Neoform hanging out. I don't think he was too interested in that, but a Mana Geode, considering we're already in 3 colors.
I would like that Mana Geode because I think the black cards that were the alternative were just very medium. In the end, you don't really care whether you have a black common 6-drop or you don't. But with Mana Geode, that's going to keep Yuuya's options a lot more open throughout the draft.
Well, that's the pick here for Watanabe. Let's have a look at this pack. Wow, this is a real stinker. We've got Lazotep Plating, we've got Crushed Descent, and man, look at this. A handful of cards that are really not exciting anyone too much at all, Simon.
I agree. That is not what you are hoping for when you are staying flexible. When you take cards of a bunch of colors, you are just hoping for that signal. You're hoping for, a strong uncommon being in this pack. that somehow your neighbors didn't want to draft.
But instead you get Huatli, the Sun's Heart. But Lazotep Plating is the pick here for Yuuya Watanabe. Not a very exciting 5th pick for the Japanese superstar. He won't be happy with that. Let's hope the 6-pack treats him a little better. There's an Ashiok Skulker, but ooh, Leyline Prowler. Exactly what Yuya's after here.
I like Leyline Prowler a lot. I do see a little bit of an issue with him having passed the Death Bloom.
Okay.
So he did send a signal that he was not in Golgari. And now it looks like he is maybe moving into Golgari plus blue or some other
Sort of
two-color
Sultai,
combination.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, in draft, the person to the right dominates the person on the left.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't care too much about what your left neighbor is doing.
This is because you're passing cards left twice or only passing cards right once. So if Yuuya Watanabe gets cut from a Golgari, it's only going to be happening in one pack, seeing as he sent that one down.
And he's looking to have blue as a third color anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So even if some Golgari cards get cut, it's not that big of a deal.
Another pack that's a little weak here, Simon. Arlen's Wolf is an option, as is Ashiok Skulker. I think that's a Price of Betrayal, and even Divine Arrow under consideration. This is not going well.
I would like to see that Divine Arrow and just go for a greedy 4-color deck.
Just go big or go home, huh?
Yeah,
or maybe both in this case.
It is a tough pick to make because you're picking the consistency here, but the payoff is not all that great.
Arlen's Wolf, a pretty unexciting card, although it does have a mild evasive ability which is useful when pressuring opposing Planeswalkers. Here's another Mana Geode. Would you like a little bit of R&D insight, Simon?
What is that?
The playtest code name for Mana Geode was, you're never going to guess, Scrying Manalith.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the pick instead is Amassing Coercion.
Mm-hmm. Toll of the Toll of the Invasion there. Yes, indeed. A little Thoughtseize type action with a mass stapled on the end. But there he is. Niv Mizzet Reborn, Simon, has done the full circle of the table, done a bit of a world tour here, and Yuuya Watanabe, he's going to pick it up.
Go big or go home?
Go big or go big and go home. Here is the approach that Watanabe's taking. No, look, in all seriousness, if Watanabe does end up full Wooburg, which is a difficult feat to pull off, he's got a bunch of gold cards. He's going to draw 2 or 3 cards off this Niv Mizzet.
Yeah, and it's a 6/6 flyer as well.
Shriek Dive, the pickup in pick number 10.
We have talked about Mana Geodes. There are also Gateway Plazas. There are actually a bunch of cards. There's the Divine Arrow.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of cards that actually help you splash. So as unlikely as it seems, it is doable. And of course, Yuuya picking that card is hedging. He's not planning 100% to play Niv Mizzet, but he gives himself that option.
Nice to have the option. So the last couple of picks here, as you can see there, we saw Shriek Diver into that Divine Arrow you talked about, Tithe Bearer Giant. Relentless Advance isn't a bad one, really, to be picking up so late. You're in that color. Not huge all-in on a mass at this stage, but a Hill Giant's always, it's a Hill Giant. And then Nissa's Triumph, probably not interested in playing that one last.
So looking at the cards, I see that the gold uncommons are kind of, and even the Ugin's Construct, I guess, are what Yuuya, is he already calling the guilds? Oh yeah, I'm gonna draw 1, 2, 3.
Okay, yep, cool, yep, easy. Yes, I'll just pick up these cards, play this.
Need a Boros card.
Yep, pick one of those up.
The 4 uncommons, I think the early uncommon picks, those will dictate his preferences for the upcoming pack. And if he can build a Sultai deck that somehow also splashes Niv Mizzet, I think that would be the biggest payoff possible for him.
I think the thing is here, you're paying a moderate price for a card like Niv Mizzet if your deck is set up to cast it. If you've got Mana Geodes, if you've got Gateway Plazas, if you've got some of the Mana Rocks, the other Mana Rocks, and the Guild Globe, that sort of thing, getting the red mana, getting the white mana, even when in Sultai, it's not as difficult as it seems. New Horizons, another card that's going to help out.
There are a lot of cards that generate mana of any color. So in this set, it's actually easier to splash cards that would be unsplashable in a lot of other formats.
And a point that you made yesterday, Sam, we can pick up again today. Even splashing cards with difficult mana costs, thanks to the New Horizons, the Guild Globes, the Fire Mines Capsules. These things, they make 2 mana of a color, which means that it's easier to be on the double splash. Speaking of being on the double splash, how about a Paradise Druid? That's a nice little Bird of Paradise type effect.
Exactly. One of the many cards that generate mana of any color, and that he needs. So I want to touch upon this Niv Mizzet argument. The price is not the pick he invested in Niv Mizzet. It was a late pick. The price is whenever he's now facing decisions of mana fixing versus good card or solid card. Because if he passes good cards, then that's the real price he's paying.
I don't think he's paying much of a price here. I mean, Saheeli is a very good card and also castable in a non-red deck because of the hybrid mana cost there.
But
However,
not in his deck, right?
but Paradise Druid is a good card.
Absolutely.
It's not. You're not paying a high price. This is not, picking a Gateway Plaza in the first pick of pack number 3. This is a very solid pack 2, pick 1, worst case scenario 2 mana 2/1, which isn't great. But in the best case scenario, it's helping you cast Niv Mizzet.
I do want to mention this Bolas' Citadel because we had a discussion about it yesterday. I think it's pretty bad in Limited because of all the situational aspects of it.
Look at
black,
this.
Life.
Here's a Boros card, Simon. Solar Blaze. The closest thing we've got to a Wrath of God. It's a mass justice strike here. This could be a card that Yuuya Watanabe is interested in if he really wants to get stuck in the weeds here.
I would love to see that. I said that splashing, if you pick up the right cards, means you are able to splash almost anything. You are passing this mana geode. You might even table it. There might just not be players at the table interested.
Yeah, that's a very good point. But Yuuya Watanabe here, he's tossing up between this Thunder Drake, the Solar Blaze, and the Mana Geode. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this Solar Blaze, it offers a very unique effect. He's going to play it safe. Take the Mana Geode, and ultimately a sensible pick, if not a very exciting one.
Exactly, but this is the balancing act that he has to solve with this draft, and it's a lot about predicting the future of the next 1.5 packs. Where if he expects, based on his experience with testing the format, if he expects to see a lot of these mana geodes, he would have taken the mass removal. But he clearly is a bit concerned that consistency is something he should value higher than putting even more power into his deck.
Well, he can put some more power into his deck here with his Ral's Outburst. It seems to be the card that he's most interested in here. And this card, it's just a great card. It's just a great card. It's obviously you have to work very hard not to get a 2-for-1 with Ral's Outburst, and as a result, a pretty high pick.
Have you managed not to get a 2-for-1 with this?
Oh, look, I don't want to talk about it. I mean, I guess it counts as a 2-for-1, right? I mean, 3 damage at the face is basically worth a card. It's just Lava Spike, right?
I thought you targeted maybe something that got sacrificed.
Ral's Outburst, target me. I mean, what? Here's a new Horizons here. This is going to be a great pickup here for Watanabe. A couple of other options there as well, you can see. But, I mean, the Guild Globe, not the effect he's looking for, especially with New Horizons. He's got a slight proliferate, a mass type sub-theme going on here, plus the Manners of
exactly. There is a little bit of a choice because the Guild Globe, in theory, is better at fixing arbitrary mana, whereas New Horizons, the turn you use it, is just going to make 2 of the same. However, New Horizons is just the stronger card. You are happy to have a New Horizons in your deck. You're not excited about a Guild Globe.
Well, how about a Gateway Plaza? We talked about this card already, this land here. One of the very rare instances of a 5-color land in this format. And, I mean, it does come at a significant cost. You have to pay a mana to even keep it around. So
yes, but I mean, we all know Terramorphic Expanse. It has been printed in enough sets where you can fetch a basic land from your deck. Gateway Plaza is so much more powerful in the strategy that Yuuya is employing because it doesn't lock him into a splash color. This is why he can just pick Ral's Outburst or whatever he sees in pack 3. Now he has the amount of mana geodes and mana fixing that he can really prioritize the best card in every single pack.
All right, well, let's have a look at what the best card in this pack is. Is it the Elder Spell? Are we going full Elder Spell here? Vraska's Finisher, also a great option, as well as some other cards there. You can see that the green and black and blue cards are still flowing. Obviously, he's not being cut too hard.
No, and you want to be base green anyway because some of your fixing is green. So it's more important to have a green source of mana.
Oh, it is going to be the Elder Spell here, Simon. Just in case he comes up across the Mono Planeswalker deck, he's going to certainly have an answer for that. But it's not a great card.
It's probably a sideboard card.
Yeah.
We talked about Odin's Wolf already, so he doesn't specifically need 3 mana 3/2s, especially with the ability of killing a creature that got damaged, not being relevant in his super grindy control deck.
So the choice here between Tidebearer Giant and Snare Spinner. I certainly favour the Spider just as a 2-drop, making sure we've got plenty of action at the lower point of the curve, Simon. But Mayhem Devil, perhaps? Another hit off Niv Mizzet?
I think I think that Mayhem Devil is not the gold card you're looking for because you don't get the payoff that you really want.
Yeah.
It's effectively just a 3/3, so you're stretching your mana, you're stretching your consistency.
Well, can I interest you, Simon, in another Mayhem Devil here? The next pack coming along for Yuuya Watanabe here, and he's got a second chance to add a Rakdos card to his deck.
Also a second chance at a Snare Spinner, a Flyer.
Yeah, there's a Shriek Diver's in there as well. But no, Mayhem Devil. I love it.
So we have we have like 4 or 5 guilds covered.
I think 5.
Oh, there's another one.
And there's another one now. Take Dovin's Veto. I think he's just going to draw 6 cards every time he plays Niv Mizzet, which could be 0 times in fairness. But as a 5-mana 6/6 flyer, it's a decent rate. Dovin's Veto here.
I think you guys just trolling us.
Watanabe, he's just gone full Wooburg here. He's gone full Wooburg. Nasapata Avail isn't too bad. I think Watanabe has a high concentration of non-creature cards in his list. He may be interested in the Planeswalker. Yes, indeed.
I think that it's a surprisingly late Planeswalker because even the weakest Planeswalkers in the set, the uncommons, they are still Planeswalkers.
All right, here's an Enforcer Griffin rather than that Relentless Horde there.
Enforcer Griffin becomes quite a lot better in this format because evasion is powerful, but also if you have the deck with New Horizons and Mana Geodes, your 5-drops are a little bit more interesting because you can skip your 4-drop and just play them on turn 4.
Gideon's Sacrifice, and now a Bond of Passion to round things out there. So unexciting last picks, but that's a great point you make there, Simon. The 5-drop slot on the curve, if you are playing one of these green-based Mana Geode, New Horizon type decks, the 5-drop slot is where you're looking to power something out early on turn 4.
And then a 3/4 flyer, if you imagine it would cost 4, it is really
it's insane.
Amazing.
That's a great rate. That's a great rate.
We can take a look at how Yuuya is sorting his cards here. I mean, it is still a puzzle to be solved. However, the mana fixing is there. So even if you don't at the moment know exactly how your basic land configuration is going to look like, we don't have the arena suggest land feature right here.
I don't know if even the mighty arena suggest land might not be able to puzzle this one out, Simon. This is like. I'm not gonna go ahead and call it a train wreck because we're not quite into that territory. But the girders are sort of rattling a little bit on the side of the rails here.
I would say a little bit ambitious.
Yeah,
a little bit out there.
Yep.
Maybe
gonna have to. Interesting is the potentially most euphemistic term used on coverage, and when we start saying interesting, then something has gone awry. But look, Watanabe has drafted with a clear plan. The cards haven't really come his way the entire time. He's definitely made hay while the sun has shone with early picks of Mana Geode and New Horizons. But I don't see, apart from the Niv Mizzet, there's not a huge payoff. There's not a huge incentive for him to be sort of drafting this 5-color monstrosity.
I agree, but there's a whole pack left.
All right.
And now, if there's any power in almost any color, he is just going to snatch it up. There's just no reason for him to prioritize a creature or a removal spell or mana fixing if there is a what we would call a bomb.
A Stone Cold Bomb.
A 5-star card is just going to make his deck.
Instead, it is Command the Dreadhorde. That's a stinker here. So obviously, Watanabe not finding the bomb splashy rare that he was looking for. But, however, Simon, Ob Nixilis' Cruelty, an excellent card, a very, very powerful removal spell.
Yeah, and you're not going to be upset about opening a pack with Ob Nixilis Cruelty, even though you were hoping for an even stronger card.
All right, well, that seems like a reasonable pick here. Huatli's Raptor, not too exciting, difficult to cast in this deck as well, and a Law Rune Enforcer not probably doing its best work in this base Sultai list. So a couple of options, but none of them really too appealing. And I mean, when you've got an Ob Nixilis, just take the Cruelty. Man, come on, let's stop the charade, Simon. Just take the Cruelty. Very, very good rate. It is essentially just a kill more or less anything. There's not much that doesn't die to Ob Nixilis' Cruelty.
It's a powerful limited set, and you can also see it reflected in the commons.
Yeah.
With removal, this is an instant. This is an instant -5, -5 kills almost any creature, and it exiles. So you're getting an insane rate on a common.
Yep. All right, well, let's see if some... Oh, yes, that's what he wants. That's what he's been looking for. A nice big splashy rare here in the form of Enter the God Eternals. You can see also Ral's Outburst, but I think Enter the God of Eternals is just such a juiced up removal spell that also adds to the board and buffers your life total. There is very, very little reason not to take this stone cold powerhouse.
I absolutely agree. Your deck doesn't want another 3 damage draw card effect. It wants the real haymakers to say, I have taken some damage, I've fallen behind on the board a little bit, but Enter the God Eternals and I'm coming back into the fight.
Deal 4, gain 4, mill 4, and get a 4/4. All 4, 6 mana. Would have been much... Oh, sorry, 5 mana. Would have been much better for 4 mana. Would have been much better.
At some point, you don't get the colored mana symbols in there because you just run out of...
It's run out of room, yeah. All right. Next up. Spark Harvest is a nice one, nice option here. There's a Jace's Triumph if Watanabe is looking for a little bit of a divination. But I think the Spark Harvest is a very defensible pick here. Another piece of, can I say premium removal, Simon?
I like Spark Harvest a lot because the additional cost gives you an option. You are, in Yuuya's deck, rarely going to sacrifice a creature, but if you have that 1/1 amass token, that's a great raid. I would always be happy to have this. Also, the ability to kill a Planeswalker at common level is very valuable. Talking about divination, talking about drawing cards, of course it's something that Yuuya would want to do with his deck, but in this format, the board is super important.
Yeah.
So you can't just say durdle like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, you do have to play to the board. One way to do that is with cards like Eternal Skylord. There are a lot of cards in the set, especially in black and blue, that put 2 bodies onto the battlefield. Whether it's something like Herald of the Dreadhorde, which gets you an installment package for zombie creatures, or Eternal Skylord, Eternal that'll give you 2 bodies for the price of 1. And the Skylord here is just a really, really good rate. And if you're already heavy on a mass, it's going to win the game in very short order.
I'm going to be honest. You see there that it has 4 stars. For me, Eternal Skylord is just one of the best uncommons in the set. Simply because it's single color. It costs 5, but that's fine because you're getting so much for your mana.
Oh, another Soul Diviner as well here for Yuuya Watanabe. He does have a light token, sort of counter theme here with a little bit of proliferate, a little bit of +1/+1 counters here and there, and so a second copy of Soul Diviner just as a 2-mana 2/3. That's a great rate as well.
Absolutely, I agree. The power level of Yuuya's deck is rising. He's also becoming more and more blue-black. I don't know how that's going to work out with the green fixing. That could be a bit awkward because every forest you play in your early turns is not going to cast Soul Diviner. But I think that Yuuya is on a very good way here. Just having a 2/3 body on a creature that you only invest 2 mana in is already a great deal.
All right, here's some good blue options in this pack. Callous Dismissal, Flux Channeler, not too interested in that Relentless Advance. But I have to say, Simon, Callous Dismissal, I think, has just only gone up and up in my estimation. A bounce spell in this format. Here's my take on it. Here's the Riley Knight's big call. Against the Grixis colors, against blue, black, red, you're always going to be able to bounce an amass creature. You're always going to be able to bounce a zombie army, and that's exactly what you want to be able to do with a bounce spell. Just straight up kill something, Doomblade. Yep. Against the green-white decks that are proliferating all over the show, you can reset a creature that has 5/+1/+1 counters on it. Get that 2/2 back up into your hand. It's not a 6/6 anymore. And a second copy of Callous Dismissal, an option here for Yuuya Watanabe, but also a Leyline Prowler. That's a tough pick.
Leyline Prowler is amazing in his deck. I think that having a card that fixes his ambitious mana base and can also act as a Death Touch blocker for anything your opponent plays on the ground is huge.
I think he's got to take it.
I think he has to.
Callous Dismissal is just that good, but Leyline Prowler is everything that Watanabe wants in a card. And
we didn't just mention it, but of course our evaluation of Callous Dismissal is because it's a sorcery. If it was an instant, it would be just amazing.
Forget about it.
It would be too strong for this format.
Forget about it. It'd be way too good. Speaking of way too good, here's another copy of Dovin's Veto. But it is hanging out with a Mana Geode, and that'd be number 3 here for Watanabe. But I think he wants to take it here because this is going to be the card that enables his powerful gold card strategy to really be pulled together.
But that's his 3rd copy, right?
Yeah.
you get an issue of how many mana sources do you want to play. You have to play a certain number of lands, and then you have New Horizons and 3 mana geodes. That's probably a bit too much if you end up with 20 or 21 mana sources.
Command the Dreadhorde here. Yuuya Watanabe, speculative pick there. Probably going to put that in his EDH deck. And now we move on to the table scraps that are remaining after these packs have gone round and round a couple of times. Bond of Insight, not actually a bad pickup here for Watanabe's deck. A little bit more consistency, perhaps.
I agree. However, I don't think he has the instants and sorceries.
No.
Well, I don't think he's going to have the amount of instants and sorceries in his main deck.
No, I don't. I mean, none of these. I don't think Yuuya Watanabe is going around and celebrating any of these picks. Spellkeeper Weird, definitely not a great fit for his
I think
list.
Spellkeeper Weird could be playable because he wants to be blue.
Just as a 1/4.
Exactly.
Yeah.
3 mana 1/4 is already a good rate.
Yeah.
Horned Turtle. And then if you once get back a removal spell with it, it has
fine.
It has done
Get back
done
your
its
outburst. Well, there's a Naga Eternal and a second Naga Eternal as well to round out Yuuya Watanabe's draft. Certainly a weird one, Simon. It is one. This is the kind of draft that the coverage team does tend to call interesting, but it's not as simple as just dismissing it out of hand. There's a lot of meat on the bones. There's a lot of stuff to unpick here. Watanabe, one of the greatest players in the world. I don't think that's the draft he scripted, but I'm very interested to see the results of what he's put together here.
Yes, and it's not a bad deck. There's a lot of power in the uncommons. You have Niv Mizzet as your finisher. You have entered the God Eternals. So, and the mana isn't bad. This is the most important part. It's not like just 5 color and he is going to play one of each basic, right? So I think I'm more positive than you about his chances. And also, of course, you can't script this, but it shows us a lot about what the Japanese testing team surrounding him and himself are thinking about the format.
Oh, look, I mean, I hope to be wrong about this. I hope this is just a straight through. I hope this deck is so good that he 5-0s with it, to be honest. But it's not the sort of thing, it's unorthodox, is what I want to say. This is something that if you're sitting down to draft 4 of the Spark and you think, I'm just going to draft a Yuuya Watanabe special, you're going to run into problems. And I'm very, very willingly admitting I'm not smart enough to draft a deck like this and win with it. I'm not smart enough to draft a 2-color aggro deck. So, I mean, forget 5-color nonsense there like that. But what I'm hoping we're going to have here is a real learning opportunity to see what some of the capabilities of this format are, the stuff that you can get away with.
Exactly, and now my hope is that we are going to see his experience with play testing this format, maybe doing a dozen drafts, maybe 20, we don't know, is going to show. He respects the board, but he doesn't bow to it, right? He says, yeah, you can play your creatures. I'm going to go bigger. I'm going to go with my mana geodes, with my New Horizons. And I respect that a lot, especially at a table when everybody is more conservative because it's a new format and they're like, I'm going to be aggro, I'm going to be mid-range.
No, give me the good stuff.
Exactly. So you also get this table dynamic where you say, I'm playing against great players, right? Yuuya Watanabe is an amazing player, but looking around him, he has a lot of Magic experience competing for that. I mean, we're talking about the road to top 8 here. So putting yourself in a position where potentially you are the only one in that strategy, and you let all the mid-range and aggro decks sort it out among themselves, I like that a lot.
All right. Well, as I say, hopefully we have a lot to learn over the coming time. In the next 3 rounds, of course, you'll be in the capable hands of Marshall Sutcliffe, Paul Cheon, as we explore this War of the Spark limited format even further. For now, we're going to go to a break, but stick around, everybody, because on the other side of this, it'll be back to Rich and Maria at the desk. We'll see you soon.